Ever wanted to make your own little tiny duck best friend? Well, now you can. I just got this Open Duck mini kit from Tnkr and I'm about to put it all together. It comes with absolutely everything you would need. You also get all the instructions you need, from a full 3D rendering of how the parts fit together to a wiring diagram, assembly instructions, and all the bits of code that come with it so you can make your duck move, dance, whatever you feel like. I'm so excited to put this together, so if you want to join me, there's a link in the bio to get your own kit, and let's build this.
So starting up, the wiring diagram looked kind of intimidating and scary, so I figured I would start with just putting together the body, which is more similar to previous projects I've done before. It's a lot of 3D printed parts and a lot of servos, and most of the components are put together through the connections of the servo motor. So screwing the servo body and the servo hat into different parts is what keeps them together. This is the same thing that we've seen from previous robot arms that we've built, both the DIY variety as well as the SO101s, which are a very similar build using the same VTech motors. The assembling more or less went pretty smoothly. You do have the 3D designs on the Tnkr website that kind of show you how things have to go together. As the tutorial stands now, this is literally just step one, but it took me a few hours to get here. So the very first step for this project is to test the servo connections. But for that, we need to actually connect the servos to the servo driver board, which means we need to power the servo driver board. Now, with previous projects, like with the SO101s, we just had an adapter to do it. But for this setup, we're going to use a battery. However, in order to use the battery, we need to connect the battery to the battery holder. We then need to do a battery protection module thingy, which will then connect to the servo. There'll be like a power switch. This will have a power adapter that changes everything to 5V to then connect to the Raspberry Pi and a few other things in between. And all of this has to be connected with electric wire and burned and fused, which I am slightly terrified of. So without further ado, let's do our very first ever soldering. For this project, a soldering iron is very essential. You basically cannot get any of the electronic wiring done without a soldering iron. If it is your first time, it is doable and possible, because it was also my first time. Okay, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I soldered that. I think it's like connected. I think that's success. I soldered something. On to the rest of the circuit. We've connected the battery positive and negative to this BMS, and now we're going to connect the middle of the battery with the 4.2 volt point. And for that, I'm going to use some of this extra wire that I'm going to somehow cut and strip and then solder it all over again. I first had this very cheap USB powered solder that I had from Amazon that I just had around the house from my initial haul for electronics. This did not get me very far, as it just wouldn't get hot enough. It would take forever. I would have to keep recharging it, and just led to a lot of frustration and really bad joints. I also didn't have a proper wire stripper in the beginning, so I tried to use scissors, but then my wires would just constantly rip out, which again led to some frustration and an extra day of working. And it wasn't because of the soldering itself, but the, let me see, But then I ordered this beautiful guy, the 9Pi, 9 pencil something, that a lot of the other makers that I talked to recommended. So this is what I got. It's open source, which is really cool, and it's been working swimmingly. I didn't get a special power up for it, although I probably should in the future, but I've been using my Le Robot adapter for 12 volts, and that's been working just fine. And ever since then, I took my soldering to a whole new level. I now have this actual soldering station set up that I'm using with some anti-static protection, so we don't burn components anymore, and we have all the materials that we need to solder properly. So as you can see, my soldering went from this mess to this really beautiful, elegant, organized, categorized, wonderful setup. Honestly, it's been such a nice hobby to discover. New tech branch of robotics unlocked. totally recommend trying out soldering. If I can give some quick tips over it, is always use flux. That made stuff stick together a lot easier. Have the nice powered up solder with the right temperature. I've been using this little pen to hold my solder, which has been also really nice. I don't have to touch any hot wires. And yeah, cable stripper has been the MVP of this setup so far. I believe we soldered enough for the power to go from the batteries to my servo control board, which will then allow me to actually test all the servo motors and install their hats in the appropriate position. As the tutorial stands now, this is literally just step one, but it took me a few hours to get here. Okay, so we're gonna put the batteries in. Plus at the plus, minus at the minus. Okay, we can plug this in here. Oh, the light is on. All right, so we have our repository and we're gonna use the code to start configuring each servo.
So in order to set up all the servo motors properly, we first had to clone the repository with all the code for the OpenDuck in your preferred IDE. Of course, for back to engineering, our IDE of choice is our channel partner and sponsor, PyCharm. Thank you once again, PyCharm, for supporting the channel. This is where our code is going to live for the rest of the project. Now, you're supposed to run a command for each of the servos, but of course, this did not just run out of the box. Instead, I had to turn on the AI assistant and I used Claude to go through the error messages I was getting. Turns out one of the packages was out of date, so I had to update some parts of the code, and we also had to configure the port correctly since I'm running this on Windows. Then you can finally pick up each ID from the list and set up the servo by plugging them in one by one, which will make it turn to the default position, so then you can assign each ID to each servo. This is important for the calibration for the walking process later on. Once again, thank you PyCharm for being our sponsor. And now back to the endless building montage.
Hi, it's me again. So trying to screw these in, it feels like the holes are just too loose for the screws to actually stay, but also too tight for these nuts to go in. And I looked into it, and apparently these are heat nuts. So we need to once again use a soldering iron to get the nuts to melt into the 3D printing holes, and then we can screw all of these together. That was surprisingly smooth. I've never seen that before. But just melting the nuts directly into the plastic works so great. Wow, I'm learning so much this week. This is the end of day 2. This is an absolute mess, but my body is broken and I can do no more. We have 2 legs and whatever this thing is, and my soldering keeps coming apart, so I need to redo it. We'll try again tomorrow. All right, new update. I am up to assembling the knees, and I'm looking at my parts. I think we're actually missing one of these, but thankfully it's all open source and the files are available in the project as well. So I'm just gonna go and print one more. And unfortunately, I only have pink PLA, but the duck will just have a very nice right knee. Day 3 or 4, I'm not even sure. On the body side, this is how far we have gotten so far. And as you can see, the hips move in so many different directions. It's got a lot of degrees of movement, which is going to be really fun to play with and to see how it can walk. So everything that I've done so far can be done independently without having the wiring set up. But right now I need to connect the IMU sensor in here and the servo board. So I want to only do that after all the wiring has been connected. So we have to pause this until I figure out the electronics. So it's a really enmeshed and interconnected project, which has been really fun. You will learn so much from this, but yeah, do expect it to last about a week of building. I also soldered out my very first Raspberry board and my very first little sensors that I had to put the pins into. I think this one's actually really beautiful. The first Raspberry was a bit of a miss, but I got really a lot better at it within a day, which I love. I also learned how to actually use my multimeter. So I've been using this to test every now and again that all the connections are done properly and the right voltage and power is running through my circuits. So what we managed to do is we set up the Raspberry Pi. You can directly SSH from your laptop just by finding the IP address that's on the same local network Wi-Fi that you have. So I managed to install all the different dependencies that I needed. I managed to set up the Bluetooth and connect to the controller. Little detail here, in the original tutorial, they use an Xbox controller. The kit comes with a cheaper alternative, so you have to press the sync and A to enable Bluetooth detection. Watch out for whatever model you might be using. I also found a tutorial for the microphone setup, so we managed to get that connected into here. If you do not happen to own the world's tiniest flathead screwdriver for this component, I found that using 2 male wire ends kind of worked to screw those cables in. So we're, DIYing very creatively for this project, did some more soldering, and now I'm at the point where I would like to connect the rest of the sensors to the Raspberry. We need to have all the wiring done before we finish the build with the head of the robot, since of course it's all going to be encased, so you can't really go back and change it afterwards. However, looking at the very clear wiring diagram over here, I don't quite understand how we're supposed to have a single line collecting all the power and separately all the ground for like 7 components. How would that work? So we have the 4 different little tiny eyelids, and we have the microphone that have to kind of just go through a single line. I don't know if I'm meant to just chop a few different bits of covering on a wire and connect them all into it, or if we're meant to do like a little, daisy go round circuit for all of them. So with all of that, we got to the final push of the project. So hopefully we'll finish that up today. Let's get into the final wiring diagram comprehension. And she is done. I have to be honest, that was a long and arduous process. It took more than a week. Granted, we had a heat wave halfway through, but this is definitely the biggest, most complex, most difficult project that I've taken on. I've learned a lot from it, especially in that last push of the build. There was so much to arrange. I've made some very questionable choices. Some of the soldering I did there at the end could only be considered an electrical exorcism, so I'm probably going to have to go back and knead out some of the work that I've done, so it's just a little bit more stable and reliable. But for now, here she is. I've tested the IMU sensor, the servo controller, everything has been wired and installed properly. It's just going to take a lot of extra time and basically be a whole other project to get the walking policy going and train it by myself. So that's going to have to be a follow-up video. I also really want to take her to the sand dunes close to my house. So I want to see if I can adapt her to walk on sand, because I think that's going to look like really cinematic and pretty. So that's something we're going to do next. We're going to dive more into the ISAC sim to real simulation and training, which is also one of the videos I'm doing with NVIDIA and Seed Studio for my Jetson series. Lots of good things to come, but for now, I'm just really happy that she's put together. This is going to be a really fun robot to have around and train a lot of new skills on. I will say, I do think it needs quite a lot of extra work. They're working on the docs now to improve them with all the feedback and the things we found along the way. I would say really be prepared and know what you're signing up for if you're going to attempt this build. I wouldn't do it as your first project. Make sure you're a little bit comfortable with soldering and following complex diagrams and a lot of the building techniques, but you'll definitely learn a lot from doing it. So I'm really curious to see if anyone else comes up with their own little duck build, and I'm really excited to get her walking and dancing. So that's it for me for now. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that stuff, and happy building.